Hi guys, it's Alex. I think soon I will be sharing some webinars, making some videos about risk and underwriting. And just to start with something, I want to share with you one of the workshop I had at work with guys when I was telling them my experience, how actually I'm trying to manage my personal finance, how I am planning, how I'm doing, let's say, personal budgeting. So let's start with this video. So this is some ideas how to manage your personal finance, which I'm using already for 9 years, and now I find it very difficult to not to do it. So I'm planning my expenses for a year. I'm putting there my spendings for some, especially for some big things like vacations, like traveling, health, something else. I'm not counting every penny really. It's pretty annoying for me. I cannot live like that. Like my dad can, but he has a huge, huge notepad, like paper one, where he's putting already probably 30 years. That's really exciting, but I cannot do this. It doesn't work for me. So I'm usually planning it like as a bigger scale for months, for a year, only big things. And I will explain a bit how I'm doing it, how it helps me actually. So if we're talking about start saving money, start controlling money, because money, I think, likes to be controlled. They like to be spent as well, but it's a bit different strategy, which we will not touch much in this video. So there are some simple rules which I got for myself during those years. That first rule, first thing, you always need to save some money, some kind of safe deposit which you will use in case of emergency. Because everything can happen. You can get sick, get fired. You really need this money. You may need this money urgently. So, and you don't have anywhere to take it from. So try to create some saving deposit, 3-6 months of your monthly expenses, so you can be ready to any difficulties, any challenges, anything unpredictable. That's always good to have. That's, from my point of view, first thing you must do before you are starting saving money for any investments. So rule 2, that's a very good idea to start saving some percent, some share of your income. Doesn't matter what exactly is your income. You must get this habit to save some money from it. Well, even if you start putting 10-20%, even if you are 20 years old now, 25, I will show later why it's important to do even an early age. Try to put some money on different account. We will talk later what you can do with them. But first one, at least try to save some money, some part of your income. Always try to get this habit. And rule 3, if you have loans and they are expensive enough, try to close them. Because before you are doing investments, before you are doing really like retirement investments, I don't mean yearly plan where you are going and how you're spending money, but some big investments, try to close your loans first. You can simulate it easily, create those money flow. I was doing it also, and I found it's absolutely obvious that if you have loans by 10-20%, you must close them as soon as possible, because it's almost impossible to achieve this interest income from your investments, to beat this interest income you are paying to banks and other financial institutions. So if your loans are not super cheap, then try to close them first. It will be beneficial for your money deposit. So those are some simple rules which maybe you will be interested in. Then something about personal budget, how actually I'm doing it. I suggest to plan big spendings for next year. At least I'm doing it like in December on a yearly basis, and then of course I'm updating my file quite often, several times in a month. And if I have some spendings, let's say I'm going to Bali in June with family, with 2 kids, and I need 20 million for this trip, and I find it difficult to have this money in June, so I maybe want to save money now to have them in June, so it will not hit my budget, my life in July, because if you spend all the money in June you have, in July you can find it difficult to really to cover your needs. So maybe you want to make it in a safe mode and you want to save already 4 money now, 4 million every month, 4 months in a row, and then add 4 million from your planned THR bonus. So in June you have 20 million, you are free to go, and it will not harm your interest, your like monthly expenses, monthly needs. So you can do it with everything. As I said in the second part, I'm trying to distribute my income to the several small deposits for investments, for holidays, vacation. I even have separate budget for holidays and vacations, like small holidays, big vacations, for health, because you know I'm already almost 40 and maybe in 25 you're not thinking about it, but in 40 it's quite big. Actually, a big article for expenses is health. Loans payments as well, of course, if you have them, but try to close them as we discussed before. And I'm keeping myself some monthly allowance, some reasonable amount. I'm trying not to exceed it. And inside this monthly allowance, I already not controlling all those cup of coffees or noodles or whatever I'm eating, drinking, spending. I just know that I have some money. I must plus minus take a look every week how much left, and I already know how much I spent. If I exceed it, well, usually I try to borrow from myself from next month to kind of punish myself, you know, and to spend less in next month. If it's something unpredictable, really, then you could have this safe deposit. You can take it from there. You can take from your savings from here. But if we are talking about saving deposit, this one, if you took something from here, try first thing to recover it back, because you can need it again. You may need it again later. And if, let's say, you plan it, you see that you still don't have money for Bali trip in June, you can do two things. Either replace Bali with something cheaper, let's say Puncak, or you can try to find where you spend too much. You can always cut your spendings. You can, you know, make yourself lunch instead of having it in a restaurant. You can save money on taxi. You can whatever. You can do whatever you want to cut. You can have now in internet bank, for example, detailed expenses and think about it. But on the other hand, also don't have too much control on those monies, because it's impossible to refuse to yourself like everything and you know, saving on every cup of coffee. You should find some balance between living now and retirement plan. So why else we are making money to spend them in the end? So I definitely don't advise to like save everything and keep everything strict. If you have some bonus, you get some bonus, plan immediately. That half of this bonus you will spend for some fun, for example, and you will feel this, you know, how why you are even working, because you worked, you make money, now you can spend them. If you are saving everything for deposit, it's difficult to enjoy, honestly. Just looking into your balance, like some digits, either in your Excel or in your internet bank or some broker account. Like, so it's all about balance. Try to find your own one. This is some small part about how I'm doing personal budgeting. I'm doing it, as I mentioned, for 9 years. So once we finish with this one, with this part, now we can go to the retirement plan itself. And in this case, let me switch to Excel. Hi guys, so I will record this video about calculator because I made some mistakes and spelling, like year I call month, year, expenses, deposit, etc. So I will try to make it again. So how does it work? How this calculator retirement plan works actually? I put some simple instruction here, but anyway, I will comment. Let's go through it and see. Please feel free to check it, to play with it. Maybe you find some mistakes, maybe you find some improvements here. So please use it as much as you want. And how to start? The left part is about your retirement itself. Let's say we want to stop working in 20 years, in 2042. And we want to live on 15 million per month. Don't forget this 15 million now and 15 million in 20 years can be absolutely different values because of inflation. So don't forget to put here some space. Also, what you must feel here is interest rate for your outstanding. So you're still keeping money on some deposit or some bonds somewhere which is making money. So to be super safe here, let's put 3% deposit. I guess it's very possible. And here you must put or adjust later your initial amount, your capital, your equity, which you will be eating during your retirement, which you made during your work lifetime. So in this case, with those conditions, 15 million per month, 2.7 billion initial amount. Let's see in column B how long we can survive. So we will be still having percent interest income here, as you can see, but we also eating principal outstanding. That's how this works. Feel free to check. Hopefully everything correct. With those conditions, in 20 years, we will be out of money. If you want to have longer retirement plan, you must either have high amount here or lower monthly expenses here, or you can rely on some different source of income, up to you. Here we are simulating investment flow. If you want to decrease your monthly expenses to 10 million, it can be much longer, of course. You see, even after 30 years, you still have almost 1 billion on your account. And you can extend this calculator easily, up to you. Just extend formulas to work. So in this case, in those conditions, our money will be over only in 38 years, as you can see. But 10 million is not 15 million, especially with future inflation. So let's return everything back. And now, again, summarize first part, left part of the calculator. How much you want to spend per month during retirement, how long you want to spend money on your retirement, interest rate to be safe, and initial amount. Now your initial amount is the core value. Now we must go to the investment plan and see how to find it, how to earn those 2.7 billion. How right part works. You have monthly payment here, which you are putting to the investment. You have your interest rate here, which you expect to have early on average. Don't forget it must be conservative interest rate. And you have some increase of income, which we now put 0. Let's simulate without it. Let's simulate pure money. So every year you are putting 4 million per month. But here, don't forget it's years already. So I'm multiplying this cumulative deposit. I'm multiplying by 12 every year. So in this case, with those conditions, 4 million per month, 6% interest rate, which is, I think, achievable in long-term perspective. And in this case, your 2.7 billion you must have to the beginning of your retirement, you will achieve in 24 years. As you can see here, 24 years, 2046. Don't forget two things. First one, the longer you invest, the faster you accumulate in this deposit because of cumulative interest income, because you are reinvesting what you already earned. You can see this shape of this curve is close to exponential, so it's not flat. And second thing, feel free just to put here monthly investment you are going to make, because your income will be growing. It will be growing simply because of inflation, company adjusting. It will be growing because you are building career and because you are making more and more money which you can invest. So feel free to put here your own investments. It will work still if you put manual numbers here, or you can use just simple adjustments every year. You are investing more 5% of income than previous year. So it means in those conditions, let's say in 15 years, you will be investing twice more, which depends on your level now, depends on your how much you invest in now. I think it's achievable, especially considering inflation. Don't forget about it. It's really have very strong impact on a long-term perspective. So if I put here increase 5% every year for simplicity, I can achieve my 2.7 billion investments in 20 years. So exactly 1 year before my retirement, I can have those money already. So that's how it works. You can change this one, or you can just adjust manually in those cells. Don't play too much with this one. Of course, if you could put here, for example, 10%, your 2.7 billion will be available already in 16 years. But can you be sure? You cannot be sure, right? You can also put here even deposit interest rate. In this case, it will take you longer, of course. And in this case, you will need, let's say, 23 years to achieve this. So don't play too much with this. Keep it conservative. In the same time, I expect higher payments from your own income because your income will be growing. And play around this. Try to find balance. Don't forget, the earlier you want to retire, the more money you need to spend. What you shouldn't touch much is interest rate. Better to be conservative here and better to rely on yourself. So that's how it works. Let me know if there are any questions to this. I hope it's clear. It's very simple and it's a lot of calculators like this in the internet. It just can be useful to play around numbers with yourself. So I showed you how to create this simple calculator. You can use one in the internet, it's a lot of them. Just put there your retirement age, your monthly allowance, and you find out how much you need to save. And the main rule I already mentioned, because of reinvestments, really the earlier you start, the better. Your shape of your retirement balance will be close to exponential. It's really important and it's even interesting to see how quick it's accumulating after 20-30 years. What I mentioned, don't play with interest rate of your investment too much. If you are able to make 20% per year, you probably are not watching this video. So I expect that here our main idea is to beat inflation. Not to, have this risky strategy that if I'm successful, my retirement will be really super cool. I will be, driving my own plane, or I will be living somewhere in a huge villa. But if it's not successful, sorry, I will get nothing. No, it's not our strategy. Our strategy is to keep money safe, to beat inflation. That's it. That's why I'm repeating it once again. Try to exclude the risk of money loss. How to make it a bit also about this. Again, I will be not talking about when to buy Bitcoin. Please don't expect that. You still have chance to drop from video. Just some ideas. And some ideas how to minimize risk of loss, how not to put all eggs in one basket. Try to distribute money you invest in. Try to make this plan, try to make this schedule that you have stocks, bonds, ETF, different companies, different industries. Try to not invest more than, let's say, 3%. You can choose your own number, but make it reasonable. Equity on one company. Don't put too much in one company, one industry, one stock, one bond, one ETF. If you have already significant money, try to exclude more high-level risk. That broker will cheat on you. That broker will get bankrupt. That they're doing something, illegal. Try to split, try to check your broker as well, but try to split money by brokers and try to split it by countries, because every country can have a default and your money can just go almost to zero. Nobody knows what happens. So I would suggest to have some reasonable shares here of cash, of bonds, of stocks, of ETF. So try to play with it, try to read about that. So that's about diversification. If we are talking about how to top up your investment account, try to choose first one, how much shares you need, how much shares you want to invest, how big is your risk appetite. Maybe if you are average like risk appetite, you can invest half bonds, half stocks, the easiest way. Then try to split it by companies and industries already. But don't forget about rebalancing. So every 6 or 12 months, depends again, if you'll be reading about it, you will find your own way. Maybe once a year, some guys say it's acceptable, some people say it's 6 months. So you must rebalance. You must restore initial share of your companies or stocks. If you had 50-50 stocks bonds this year, and then stocks must start growing a lot, and now they're 60% in your portfolio, sell stocks, buy more bonds after 1 year. So you must return them to initial shares. That's how also you are getting benefits when you are selling when it's high and buying when it's low. That's how rebalancing works. You can read about it. And don't do it too often. Try to do it at least once in 6, once in 12 months, not more often, definitely. So also what is important, try to check fares with your broker, because sometimes I saw some, when you have ETF with expected profitability 6% per year and you are paying every year 2% of your assets to broker for this. That's crazy. So please try to check it. This can eat your money really a lot. Maybe it looks as a very insignificant thing 2%, but in reality, when you are paying for this, let's say 15 years, you will give 30% of your assets, which is crazy. And about ETF, again, read about it, please. ETF is already some stocks which are already waited for you, which already handled by broker, by some separate company, let's say Vanguard, for example. And it looks like a very safe deposit, and you don't need to take a look inside structure of your stocks portfolio every month. They're doing it for you. But make sure fares are cheap. And also, please keep in mind that stocks can go down, and they can go down for a long time. It can be 5 years, it can be 7 years. If you are going to retire in 2 years, you cannot really allow that. So the closer you are to retirement, you must be on a safe side. So it must be more about deposits, bonds, cash, because you cannot already lose income or wait, let's say, for a long time until it recovers. Don't forget about this one. The longer you are from retirement, feel free to invest in more risky instruments, in ETF, for example, and stocks. But if you are close to retirement, try to be on the safe side. Once again, if you want to speculate, do it with a very small share of your equity. If you believe that you can find new Tesla, or you know when Bitcoin will start grow up, feel free, but please check those hypotheses on a long period of time. Even if you are able to predict Bitcoin move this year, it doesn't mean that you will be successful next year, or that this stuff will not disappear at all. So please don't forget our main purpose here to save money, to provide ourselves good retirement. And about trade times in general, because definitely I didn't tell anything about details here. And was not the purpose of my webinar. Purpose was just to show some approaches, what I'm doing. Try to start from Vanguard website, some simple things about investments, stocks, bonds, calibration, depends of your current level, how much you know about that. So start from the beginning, and that's it. I hope it was useful. As I mentioned in the beginning, soon I will try to make some videos, some webinars about risk and underwriting topics, about my own experience. Some of them will be about risk-based pricing, about how to find ideal approval rate, marginal profitability, and something else. Feel free to share what would be interesting for you. And please leave your feedback. How do you like this video? Was it useful? And I think we are done. Thanks everyone. Take care. Bye.